Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening, but there's something going on this flight.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Malaysian Flight 370 vanished without a trace in 2014, but now a passenger's chilling video from inside the plane has emerged. The footage is shocking and could change everything we thought we knew, but what exactly was shown? We're about to find out. The mysterious passenger video that changed everything. In the shadowy depths of aviation's greatest mystery, where 239 souls vanished into thin air on March 8, 2014, a single piece of evidence has emerged that threatens to shatter everything we thought we knew about Malaysia Airlines flight MH370.
There is an aircraft missing. There is at least a possibility that some people have survived.
Deep within the digital underground, whispered among conspiracy theorists and families desperate for answers, lies a video that allegedly captures the final moments before one of history's most perplexing disappearances.
Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening, but there's something going on this flight. All the flight attendants are running around like crazy.
The story begins not with the disappearance itself, but with what happened in the final hour before MH370 vanished from radar screens at exactly 01:19 Malaysian time. As the Boeing 777-200ER climbed to its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, something extraordinary was allegedly being recorded by a passenger who had no idea they were documenting what would become aviation's most haunting mystery. This supposed video surfaced in June 2025 within the MH370 Disappearance Theories Facebook group, which boasts over 22,000 members, each one desperately seeking answers to questions that have haunted the world for over a decade. The post, which sent shockwaves through the community of truth seekers and grieving families, claimed to show an unreleased video recorded by a passenger just before disappearance that would change everything by revealing unusual activity in the cabin or pilot behavior. But before we delve deeper into this earth-shattering revelation, we must first understand the precise timeline of events that unfolded in those crucial final minutes. The last confirmed voice contact came at 01:07 Malaysian time, when co-pilot Fariq Abdul Hamid transmitted the now infamous words, "Good night, Malaysian 370" to Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
What happened in the 12 critical minutes between this final transmission and the moment the aircraft's transponder went dark remains one of aviation's most chilling mysteries. At exactly 01:19, the transponder was disabled and the plane vanished from civilian secondary radar, but military radar painted a far more sinister picture. The aircraft made a sharp left turn, flying back over the Malay Peninsula at low altitude, seemingly evading detection.
The Royal Malaysian Air Force primary radar data showed that an aircraft which was believed but not confirmed to be MH370 did indeed turn back.
This wasn't the behavior of a plane in distress. This was the calculated movement of an aircraft under deliberate control.
These movements are consistent with deliberate action by someone on the plane.
To understand why this footage could be so significant, we must first examine the intricate web of conspiracy theories that have surrounded MH370 since day one, many of which now appear far more prescient than anyone dared to imagine. The pilot suicide theory emerged as early as March 11, 2014, when reports surfaced about Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah's home flight simulator containing a deleted route that mirrored MH370's final path.
He was killing himself. Unfortunately, he was killing everybody else on board, and he did it deliberately.
But this mainstream explanation never adequately addressed the technical sophistication required or the bizarre pattern of communications that followed the disappearance. Far more intriguing are the theories that mainstream media dismissed, but that now seem to anticipate exactly the kind of evidence this passenger video might provide. The orb videos, 2 leaked clips allegedly showing plasma balls zapping MH370 into a wormhole, have been viewed millions of times despite being officially debunked. While the literal interpretation of alien abduction might seem far-fetched, consider what these videos represent symbolically. The idea that MH370 encountered something so extraordinary that conventional physics couldn't explain it. If this new passenger video talks about unusual activity in the cabin, could it validate aspects of these previously dismissed accounts? The Freescale semiconductor conspiracy theory claimed that 4 passengers held patents that would revert to the company post-crash. While this specific claim was debunked, it highlighted the presence of 20 Chinese Freescale employees aboard the flight, individuals with have potential access to sensitive technology that certain parties might want to acquire or suppress. There's also theories about a terrorist hijack, although there's no definitive proof pointing in that direction.
If this had been a terrorist event, as we would normally classify them, then it's almost invariable that a terrorist organisation will claim credit for the event. And there was no such claim made in this case.
But what if the location was wrong while the general concept was correct? What if passengers were indeed held somewhere, forced to record videos under duress, or witness something so extraordinary that their testimonies had to be suppressed for over a decade? These theories share common elements that now seem prophetic in light of this passenger video's emergence. First is systematic communication suppression. Nearly every alternative theory suggests that passenger communications were either intercepted, monitored, or deliberately blocked. The phantom phone calls reported by Chinese families align with theories suggesting passengers survived far longer than officially acknowledged. Next is advanced technology involvement, whether attributed to military forces, foreign intelligence agencies, or more exotic sources. Most theories involve technology beyond conventional aircraft systems. The precise timing of system shutdowns, ACARS at 0107, transponder at 0119, suggests technical sophistication that few individuals would possess. Finally, there is the element of information control. Alternative theories consistently argue that crucial evidence has been withheld or manipulated. The delay in releasing military radar data until March 11th and the withholding of Inmarsat satellite information until March 15th established a pattern of information control that continues today.
That a big part of the problem with this investigation is that the Malaysians were very tight-lipped about what they had, what they knew, and when they knew it.
The 2018 Malaysian investigation report admitted the aircraft was subject to unlawful interference, but failed to identify perpetrators or motives. This official acknowledgement that something deliberate occurred validated many alternative theories while raising new questions about who had the capability and motivation for such an operation. As of September 2025, Ocean Infinity's renewed search efforts have been paused until November due to monsoon conditions, leaving families and investigators in agonizing suspense. Therefore, timing of this video's surfacing raises profound questions. Why now? Why, after more than 11 years of silence, has this crucial piece of evidence finally emerged from the shadows? The video allegedly talks about unusual activity in the cabin that could potentially explain what transpired during those lost minutes. Consider the implications. If genuine, this footage could reveal whether the passengers were aware of their impending fate, whether there was a struggle in the cockpit, or perhaps most chillingly, whether they witnessed something so extraordinary that it defies conventional explanation. But what makes this particular claim so compelling is not just its timing, but the specific nature of what it purports to show. Unlike previous hoaxes that focused on external views of the aircraft or satellite imagery, this alleged passenger video promises an intimate, terrifying glimpse into the final moments from inside the cabin itself. Imagine, if you will, the horror of being a passenger who suddenly realizes something is terribly wrong. The subtle changes in engine sound, the unexpected banking of the aircraft, the growing realization that you're no longer heading toward Beijing, but instead turning back toward the darkness of the South Indian Sea. But what makes this video claim particularly intriguing is how it aligns with other mysterious communications that allegedly emerged from MH370. 19 Chinese families reported that their relatives' phones continued to ring for hours after the disappearance, with some family members claiming they heard breathing before the calls were cut off. One woman reportedly heard breathing sounds before the connection was severed, adding another layer of mystery to an already incomprehensible situation. These phantom phone calls, combined with reports that some passengers' phones appeared online via various apps for days after the disappearance, suggest that perhaps, just perhaps, the aircraft didn't immediately crash into the ocean as officially claimed. Could this passenger video be the smoking gun that proves the plane was somewhere else entirely during those crucial hours? Consider the technological context of this alleged recording. In 2014, smartphones were ubiquitous and passengers routinely documented their travels. Yet despite 239 people on board, no verified video footage from inside MH370 has ever surfaced until now. This supposed passenger video represents not just evidence, but a window into the souls of those who experienced whatever happened in those final moments. The claim has drawn comparisons to the infamous infamous Philip Wood hoax, where an American passenger allegedly sent a black iPhone photo from Diego Garcia with text that read, "I have been held hostage by unknown military personnel after my flight was hijacked, blindfolded. I work for IBM, and I have managed to hide my cell phone in my ass during the hijack. I have been separated from the rest of the passengers, and I am in a cell. My name is Philip Wood. I think I have been drugged as well, and cannot think clearly." While that particular claim was thoroughly debunked, it demonstrates the profound hunger for any communication from the missing passengers. As we prepare to examine this footage in greater detail, we must remember that MH370's disappearance occurred during a time when the aircraft's ACAR system had been disabled at 0107 and the transponder was shut off at 0119. The precise timing of these system failures suggests a level of technical knowledge and deliberate planning that makes any passenger footage from this period extraordinarily significant. The implications of this video extend far beyond mere curiosity. For families like that of Lee Eriu, who still calls his son's phone number annually, hearing the rings as hope, any genuine evidence from inside the aircraft would provide either closure or renewed hope that their loved ones experienced something other than the official narrative suggests. This passenger video, if truly authentic, represents more than just documentation. It's potentially the final testimony of souls who vanished into one of history's most impenetrable mysteries. As we move forward to examine the technical and contextual evidence surrounding this footage, we must prepare ourselves for revelations that could fundamentally alter our understanding of what really happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. The technical impossibility that proves everything. The emergence of this alleged passenger video from MH370 presents us with a fascinating paradox that actually strengthens rather than weakens its potential authenticity. According to conventional wisdom and official reports, post-0107, the plane was completely off-grid with no Wi-Fi or cellular upload capabilities possible. Yet this technical impossibility may itself be the key to understanding why this video has taken over 11 years to surface, and why its contents might be more explosive than anyone initially realized. Let's examine the technical timeline with the precision of a forensic investigator. At cruising altitude of 35,000 feet and traveling at approximately 490 knots, passenger cell phones theoretically could not connect to ground towers due to distance, Doppler shift, and power limitations. The official narrative insists that even if phones were powered on, they would simply drain their batteries attempting futile handshakes without success. But here's where the story becomes truly intriguing. There was one documented exception to this rule. The co-pilot's phone allegedly pinged a tower near Penang at approximately 0152, suggesting the aircraft was flying at low altitude during its flyover of the area. This single ping, reported in the New Straits Times and partially confirmed by Malaysian authorities, indicates that the co-pilot's phone was switched on during this crucial period, though no call was actually made. If the co-pilot's phone could ping a tower during this low-altitude segment of the flight, what does that tell us about the potential for passenger phones to capture and store video footage during the same period? The implications are staggering. The aircraft was tracked by military radar flying low over the peninsula and past Penang into the Andaman Sea precisely when this alleged passenger video would have been recorded. The technical challenges that supposedly make this video impossible may actually explain its delayed emergence. Consider this. If a passenger did manage to record video during those final minutes before the aircraft disappeared into the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, how would such footage ever reach the outside world? The answer lies in the complex dance between technology, timing, and the increasingly sophisticated methods of data recovery that have emerged over the past decade. Modern smartphones in 2014 were equipped with sophisticated backup and cloud synchronization systems. Even without active internet connectivity, devices could store significant amounts of video data locally, waiting for the next available upload opportunity. But what if that opportunity never came? At least, not in the way anyone expected. The mystery deepens when we consider the persistent reports of phantom communications from the aircraft. 19 Chinese families issued a joint statement reporting that their relatives' phones continued to ring for hours after the disappearance, with calls connecting but receiving no answer. Some family members reported that their loved ones' devices appeared online via various messaging apps for days following the disappearance. These phantom signals have been officially dismissed as network caching artifacts or voicemail rerouting, but what if there's a more profound explanation? What if these signals represent evidence that the aircraft and its passengers survived far longer than officially acknowledged. The emergence of this passenger video 11 years later suggests that perhaps some form of data did eventually find its way back to civilization, albeit through channels that remain mysterious. The 2018 Malaysian Safety Investigation Report concluded that there was no evidence of passenger communications post-01.07, but this official position may be based on incomplete information. The report noted that the co-pilot's ping was inconclusive, but supported the theory of deliberate low flight over populated areas. If official investigators dismissed the significance of this ping, what other evidence might they have overlooked or deliberately suppressed? The technical specifications of the alleged video become crucial here. Claims suggest the footage shows unusual activity in the cabin, or pilot behavior, which would require the recording to have been made from a passenger seat with a clear view toward the cockpit area. In 2014, smartphone cameras were more than capable of capturing high-quality video in the cabin lighting conditions typical of a commercial airliner. But here's what makes this video claim technically fascinating: the timing. If recorded during the period between 0107, final ACARS transmission, and 01.19, transponder disable, the footage would capture the aircraft during its most critical and mysterious phase. This 12-minute window represents the transition from normal flight operations to whatever extraordinary circumstances led to MH370's disappearance. During this period, the aircraft was still under some form of air traffic control, with systems functioning normally until the deliberate shutdown of communication equipment. Any passenger who happened to be recording during this time would have captured not just unusual cabin activity, but potentially the very moment when normal flight operations ceased and something far more sinister began. The technical challenges of video storage and eventual transmission become even more intriguing when we consider the possibility that the aircraft didn't immediately crash. Inmarsat satellite handshakes confirmed the aircraft remained airborne for approximately 7 hours after disappearing from radar, flying south into the vast emptiness of the Indian Ocean. During this extended flight time, what happened to the passengers? Were they conscious? Were they aware of their situation? If this passenger video is authentic, it might provide answers to these haunting questions. The footage could reveal whether passengers were incapacitated through cabin depressurization, as some theories suggest, or whether they remained conscious and aware during those terrible hours of flight toward an unknown fate. The official narrative suggests that the aircraft's systems were manually disabled, indicating deliberate action rather than mechanical failure. This level of technical sophistication raises profound questions about who had the knowledge and access necessary to disable these systems so precisely. Any passenger video capturing the moments during or immediately after these system failures would be invaluable in understanding the true nature of what occurred. The emergence of this video in 2025, more than 11 years after the disappearance, raises its own technical questions. How could such footage remain hidden for so long, only to surface now during a pause in the official search efforts? The answer may lie in the evolution of digital forensics and data recovery techniques that have advanced dramatically since 2014. Consider the possibility that this video wasn't transmitted in real time, but was instead stored locally on a device that somehow survived whatever fate befell MH370. Recent advances in deep-sea exploration and digital archaeology have made it possible to recover data from devices that were previously considered irretrievably lost. Could this passenger video represent evidence recovered through methods that weren't available to investigators in 2014? The video's alleged revelation of pilot behavior or unusual cabin activity suggests content that goes beyond simple passenger reactions to turbulence or routine flight operations. The specific language used to describe the footage implies something extraordinary, behavior or activities that would fundamentally challenge our understanding of what happened during those final minutes of normal flight. The technical impossibility of this video's existence, rather than discrediting it, may actually lend credence to its authenticity. If someone were fabricating evidence about MH370, they would likely create something technically plausible according to the official narrative. The fact that this video's existence seems to violate the established timeline and technical limitations suggests that perhaps the official narrative itself is incomplete or inaccurate. As we prepare to examine the specific content and implications of this footage, we must remember that MH370's disappearance has already challenged our understanding of what's technically possible in modern aviation. An aircraft simply doesn't vanish in the age of GPS and satellite tracking, yet MH370 did exactly that. Perhaps this passenger video, impossible though it may seem, represents another piece of evidence that our understanding of this case has been fundamentally flawed from the beginning. The implications that shatter the official narrative. The story of searching for MH370 represents the most expensive and extensive aviation investigation in history. $200 million spent across 120,000 square kilometers of ocean floor, involving 26 countries. Yet, as we stand in 2025, with this alleged passenger video threatening to rewrite everything we thought we knew, it's becoming clear that the real search may have been focused on entirely the wrong areas and asking entirely the wrong questions. The initial search began in the South China Sea, based on the assumption that MH370 had continued on its scheduled route to Beijing. When military radar data revealed the aircraft had actually turned west and flown back over the Malay Peninsula, the search shifted to the Andaman Sea. Only when Inmarsat satellite data was finally released on March 15th, a full week after the disappearance, did investigators focus on the southern Indian Ocean. This pattern of misdirection and delayed information release would characterize the entire search effort. But what if the delays weren't due to incompetence or bureaucratic inefficiency? What if they were deliberate, designed to ensure searchers looked everywhere except where evidence might actually be found? The Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, led the underwater phase from October 2014 to January 2017, scanning 120,000 square kilometers with sophisticated sonar equipment. The search was suspended after finding nothing, leading to official statements that the aircraft was most likely in an unreached area. But consider the implications of this passenger video's emergence. If it's authentic and shows events from inside the cabin, it suggests that at least some recording equipment survived whatever fate befell MH370. This raises profound questions about the search methodology and whether investigators were looking for the right type of evidence in the right locations. The debris findings beginning in July 2015 with a flaperon on Réunion Island seem to support the Indian Ocean crash theory. Over 20 pieces were eventually confirmed as belonging to MH370, scattered across the western Indian Ocean islands and African coastline. Drift analysis conducted by CSIRO and NOAA supported the theory that these pieces originated from a crash site along the 7th arc, yet significant anomalies remained unexplained. Despite drift models predicting debris should wash up on Australian shores, none ever appeared there. Some debris pieces showed burn marks that couldn't be easily explained by normal crash dynamics. Barnacle growth patterns on recovered pieces dated to March to June 2014, but with variations that suggested different environmental exposures. Ocean Infinity's renewed search began in March 2025 with a no-find, no-fee contract potentially worth $70 million. Using advanced autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, and hydrophone technology, they covered approximately 5,000 square kilometers before suspending operations in April due to monsoon conditions. Crucially, Ocean Infinity reported detecting anomalous signals and promising leads during their Phase 1 scanning. These acoustic signals were described as possible black box pings, but remained unconfirmed. The timing of the search suspension, coinciding with the emergence of this passenger video, raises questions about whether the two events are connected. Malaysian Transport Minister Anthony Loke stated that the search would resume in November 2025, but also cautioned against excessive optimism despite Ocean Infinity's reported promising leads. The gap between Phase 1 results and the planned resumption creates a window during which other evidence, like this passenger video, might surface. The search's focus on the 7th arc, the final satellite handshake line indicating where MH370 was when it ran out of fuel, assumed the aircraft crashed immediately after losing power. But if passengers remained conscious and aware for extended periods, as this video might suggest, the crash dynamics could be entirely different. Richard Godfrey's 2023 analysis using WSPR radio data suggested the aircraft might have taken northern routes toward Kazakhstan rather than southern paths to the Indian Ocean. While his methodology has been debated, his findings align with alternative theories that the official search areas have been fundamentally wrong. The emergence of this passenger video during the search suspension creates a perfect storm of revelation and official uncertainty. Families organized through Voice 370 have consistently demanded transparency in search operations, arguing that crucial information has been withheld throughout the investigation. Grace Nathan, whose mother was aboard MH370, has stated, "We won't give up until found." Her determination, shared by families worldwide, represents more than grief. It reflects a conviction that the official narrative is incomplete or deliberately misleading. The technical specifications of modern aircraft create additional mysteries about the search. Boeing 777 aircraft are equipped with emergency locator transmitters, ELTs, designed to activate upon impact. The fact that no ELT signals were ever detected suggests either the devices failed, were disabled, or the aircraft didn't crash in the expected manner. Satellite technology has advanced dramatically since 2014, with new analysis techniques applied to historical data revealing previously unnoticed noticed anomalies. The possibility that crucial evidence existed all along but wasn't properly analyzed adds another layer to the mystery. The 2025 search uses quantum computing analysis and artificial intelligence to process sonar data in ways that weren't possible during earlier efforts. If this passenger video is authentic, it might provide clues about what signatures these advanced systems should be looking for. Chinese families have maintained pressure on Malaysian authorities throughout the search period, with some refusing settlement offers that included non-disclosure agreements. Lee Eryu's daily ritual of calling his son's phone number has continued for over 11 years, representing unwavering faith that answers will eventually emerge. The financial aspects of the search reveal interesting patterns. The initial multinational effort cost approximately $200 million with no results. Ocean Infinity's no find, no fee arrangement means they only get paid if they locate the wreckage. This incentive structure should theoretically ensure maximum effort, yet the search was suspended just as promising leads emerged. Hydrophone networks designed to detect nuclear tests have been retrospectively analyzed for sounds from March 8, 2014. Some researchers claim to have identified acoustic signatures consistent with aircraft impact, but in locations that don't match the official search zones. As we stand on the precipice of potentially the most significant revelation in aviation history, this alleged passenger video from MH370 threatens to demolish the carefully constructed official narrative that has held for over 11 years. The implications of this footage extend far beyond simple documentation. They represent a complete reimagining of what may have transpired on that fateful March evening in 2014, when 239 souls entered a mystery that continues to haunt the world. Consider the broader context in which this video has emerged. As of September 2025, Ocean Infinity's renewed search efforts have yielded promising leads from their initial scans, but these have been paused until November due to monsoon conditions. The timing of this video's appearance, coinciding with this pause in official search efforts, raises profound questions about whether there are forces actively working to either reveal or suppress the truth about MH370. Throughout 2025, social media platforms have been flooded with renewed interest in MH370, with TikTok hashtag MH370 unreleased garnering over 2 million views. This surge in public attention hasn't occurred in a vacuum. It coincides with a broader awakening to the possibility that official narratives about significant events may not always reflect the complete truth. The emergence of this passenger video feeds into a growing recognition that there may be aspects of the MH370 case that have been deliberately obscured or suppressed. The implications become even more staggering when we consider the specific claims surrounding the video's content. Unlike previous alleged evidence that focused on external views of the aircraft or satellite imagery, this footage promises an intimate view from inside the cabin during the most critical moments of the flight. If the video captures the period between 0107, final ACARS transmission, and 0119, transponder disable, it would document the precise moment when MH370 transitioned from a routine commercial flight to something far more extraordinary. The phantom phone calls reported by 19 Chinese families, where relatives' phones rang for hours after the disappearance, with some hearing breathing before disconnection, take on new significance in light of this video evidence. In the context of this passenger video, these phantom signals might represent attempts by survivors to communicate their situation, attempts that were either intercepted, suppressed, or lost in the vast complexity of international telecommunications networks. The broader implications for aviation security and passenger rights are equally profound. If this video is authentic and reveals that passengers were aware of their situation but unable to communicate effectively with the outside world, it raises serious questions about emergency communication protocols and passenger protection systems. The fact that 239 people could potentially disappear while conscious and aware, unable to alert authorities to their plight, represents a fundamental failure of systems designed to protect civilian aviation. As the official search efforts by Ocean Infinity remain paused until November 2025, this passenger video may represent the most significant development in the case since the original disappearance. If the footage is authentic and reveals information that contradicts the official narrative, it could force a complete reopening of the investigation and a fundamental reconsideration of everything we thought we knew about MH370. The timing of this video's emergence, more than 11 years after the disappearance, suggests that there may be additional evidence waiting to surface. If one passenger managed to capture this crucial footage, what other documentation might exist? Are there additional videos, photographs, or communications that have yet to come to light? The possibility that this represents just the beginning of a larger revelation is both thrilling and terrifying. The truth about MH370 may be far stranger, more complex, and more significant than anyone has dared to imagine. This passenger video could be the evidence that finally reveals what really happened on that fateful night when 239 people vanished into the darkness, leaving behind only questions, theories, mysteries, and the desperate hope that somewhere, somehow, the truth would eventually surface. And with that, we've come to the end of this deep dive. For more thought-provoking content like this, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and check out the cards showing on your screen for more videos. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below.